We are live. Howdy, neighbor. Hello, friends. Welcome back. You missed us last week because, yeah, that's what it was. Thank you, Brittany. It was raining last Monday, so we didn't come out to play, but we did come out last Saturday and we spent some time on the stream playing with the new microphone. I don't remember what we did on the stream. Oh, I attempted to make a wrought iron bottle opener, and I did the dumb thing where I thought to myself, that's black as hell, but I can still get one more hit on my tool and it'll be fine. Spoiler alert, it was not fine and it blew the piece apart. So it's like, well, that was a fun journey. So, anyways, we won't be working with wrought iron on live stream again. That's just too time consuming. Just got back from vacation, so I'm still really mellowed out and didn't give any thought to the stream until about 2.5 hours ago. So we're gonna do troll crosses, I guess. I didn't know trolls were that religious, but they've got crosses. So let's make one while I'm thinking of it. Forge favorite here, going to the Mark Twain. El Presidente. That's the link, not the style. I don't know what that is. So yeah, we're just gonna do a troll cross. Should be real easy. It's basically make a pointed stick, curl it, give it the old twist, and then pull it back around. It looks like a troll cross. Hooray! So we will dive right into that. I'm going to use square stock today, so the twist will come out and I won't have to make it square. It came that way. So we'll do that. We're just going to get that hot. It shouldn't really take that long. So what we'll do is I've got Brittany and Levi here hanging out today. So we'll see who's paying the most attention, because when I'm done with mine, then they get to make one with no instruction. Brittany, can you bring up that picture I sent you earlier real quick for me? Of the troll cross. I just want to look at it one more time before I launched myself into this thing. Sorry, we were late getting on today. We had a little bit of technical difficulties. Sometimes when you mute a microphone, it doesn't actually mute, and then it causes everyone to scratch their heads for 15 minutes. Okay, yeah, that's easier than I expected. Okay, so I thought it looped down like a horseshoe, but no, it just... I would say, so fun fact, I didn't know what a horse cross was. I sent that. Oh, I guess you didn't get...
You didn't tell me what it was.
Yeah, okay. It's like a metal wreath. Let's see. Went to... That camera too close. I think that camera's just this goes too close. I'm coming for you. Roar. Ignore. No. Ignore, I say. There we go. Neighbor just let his dog out, so naturally Brittany's dog has to yell at him. So that's the ruckus you're hearing. Just switch camera. Fire that up. I think what we're going to do on this one here is We're going to draw that taper down real fine. See if we can't get it to be super, super pointy. So it'll look nice when it gets all finished up. But yeah, went up to New Buffalo, Michigan. Had an absolutely wonderful time. Miss Brittany, what was the name of that little um, pub that we went to that was right there on that main drag? Casey's. Went to this place called Casey's. Holy heck, Casey's. They had this appetizer that was big old chunks of piping hot Wisconsin cheese curds. And then to match, they had equally sized pork belly. Like when you reached for it, you didn't know if you were getting ready to stab cheese or pork belly, smothered in a very delicious like sweet barbecue sauce. Me and Brittany destroyed a plate of that, and we mostly only made yummy sounds at one another while we were devouring this plate. I'm really surprised we didn't go back there 6 or 8 times just for the appetizers. Said cheese curds were the theme.
I mean, when we went Saturday night to dinner, we got cheese curds at the brick house, brickyard, brick something in St. Joseph.
Oh yeah, I can't remember the name of that place. A little place in St. Joe. Again, so yummy. That burger was exactly the kind of burger I was after that day. I like this smash burger trend, but the folks over at Steak and Shake really got to be kind of pissy about it. They've been doing smash burgers since like what, the 80s, and now it's all super trendy and stuff. Oh, there's some scale inside my cigar. That would have been delightful. But yeah, it was very yummy. What was that other place? The Scrappy Dog or Ragged Dog or Stray Dog? They had a rooftop bar that served apple juice. And they made a yummy apple juice. They made a yummy apple juice. That sentence had an end when I started it, but I just never got there. So, taking my ever loving sweet time today. We're going to make these tapers real pointy because it's an overly simplified project that's going to go very easily and very smoothly. Might as well put in a little extra effort because why not? But yeah, Michigan was nice.
Took each other out with kites.
I had these really cool power kites. They're like baby power kites. They're about 6 feet wide or so ish, 5.5, 6 feet wide, and then a couple feet tall, and it's shaped like a parachute. And you fly it with 2 lines, and infinitely easier with 2 people. So it was Brittany's turn at the lines. So she has a hold of the lines, and I'm standing at the kite, and I positioned it and launched it up into the air, and I stood there watching her fly. It's zipping back and forth over my head. She's having a good old time. Boop. Let's just hit the anvil like 6 times there in a row. So I'm watching this kite zip back and forth over my head. It's making real cool sounds and stuff. And I remember standing there and looking up at this kite as it's zipping probably 20 feet over my head. And I thought, if I don't move, there's a really good chance Brittany's going to smack me with this kite.
Not on purpose.
Well, yeah, it's going to happen. She's new to flying power kites, so sometimes it's a struggle, sometimes it's not. And I thought to myself, it's a kite. Big deal. And sure enough, from about 30 feet out, she got a full on sprint running at me with this kite. And I just looked to my left, and all I see is kite flying directly towards my face. And I had enough time to think, gee, I wonder what this is going to feel like. Which means I had plenty of time. Why I didn't, I don't know. But I decided, I wonder what this is going to feel like. And it sounded like poof as it smacked me like right in the face and chest and body all at the same time. It made a loud boof sound and then just scraped by, and it felt like getting hit with like an empty grocery bag. Like, oh, all right.
Really funny. I was crying.
She rang my bell real good with it.
And the best part, you were like standing there with your hands on your hips, just like watching it. From where I was standing, it didn't look like you knew what was coming.
Funny story. True story. True story. Funny story. Everything all right back there in the sound booth? So, true story. Funny story.
Ian saying Japanese fighting kites.
I thought that was an Indian thing. Like, India as in India, Indian, not native. But nonetheless, I was really big into kites when I was younger. I'm really big into kites now. But I had a two-handed Delta kite, and that thing was so dang fast, so fast. Most of the time, I was just trying to hang on to the dang thing, much less control it. But one day, I had a really good line of wind going, and I'm swooping back and forth, mostly under control and having a blast. And my mom brought out one of my very young nephews. Like, my nephew is barely hip high on my mom. And they're standing out in the cornfield, and my mom's standing over my nephew, pointing up, look at the kite that, Uncle Jesse's flying, yada, yada, yada. And I thought, like, they were here, and my kite was here. And I thought I'd be able to swoop down in front of them, and it'd be really exciting. Like, oh my God, like this kite just flew by me. Well, I completely misjudged depth on that one and came down and winged my mom in the head so hard with that Delta kite. She yelled at me pretty good for that one. That was pretty great. Nephew thought it was hilarious, but mom was less than entertained. But yeah, have you heard like what are they? Putang, po, it, the word that they used for their Indian kite fighting in India starts with a POT, I think is the word. But they will grind up glass and run their kite strings through glue, and then run their kite strings through the glass dust. And so when they fly next to other people, they can saw the string of the other kites.
That sounds like murder to try and get up in the air.
Well, I guess if you do the self launch where you just hold it and let the wind take it out of your hand, and then, yeah, that would shred you to pieces. But if you do the thing where you stand the kite up, and then you stretch out the whole line and wait for a good burst and give it a good pull, it'll launch right up. I bet that's about the only way you'd have to do it without gloves. But there's been like people have gotten their throat cut from these strings. People have fallen off roofs, like flying these kites and trying to watch them fly kites. It's a wild thing. I've always wanted one of those Indian kites. I thought that'd be really cool to fly around. Obviously, I went and outfit it with glass, but
You say that now, but I could see you.
well, if there was like a kite fight league, I might join that, and then I'd have to. Which that's a weird sentence to utter. If there's a kite fight league, that's wild. Man, where'd you get all those cuts up and down on your arm? Fight Club. Fight Club? Well, Kite Fight Club. You got that from fighting kites? Yeah. Did one of you fact check me on the name of that kite?
The name of what kite?
The Indian kites.
No, I just googled Indian.
Did you find the word that they used to describe their? It's either the sport or the type of kite. It kind of looks like a gem from Zelda, if memory serves correctly.
Jim or Jeff?
GEM.
Okay, I heard you say Jim, not Jeff.
Jim, Jim, tomato.
Ian says it's Pantang.
Thank you. Thank you. Like I yelled that as if he was going to literally hear me.
He's on the string. He will hear you.
Well, I know, but here he'd be like, you said Ian, and oh, hey, he's not sitting in the driveway watching us. Which that would be hilarious if he was like in a lawn chair at the end of his driveway watching on his phone with his new wife. That'd be hilarious. All right, if I could shut up for a minute, we can make this square round. What's that word again?
Patang. P-A-T-A-N-G.
I was close. I said P-O-T. I was close. Been a minute. Another thing, every spring, Washington, D.C. has a big kite festival. And people fly like dragon kites that are like city block long. I just know the weather is going to be so dang cold in DC during that time, man. It's be freezing. But I guess I've been there in February. I could handle a little bit further in the spring.
Government shutdown. We flying kites.
I mean, you can't fly drones anywhere near the White House. I wonder if people are trying to get around that by just flying a kite next to the White House and seeing how quick Secret Service comes to talk to you.
Sure they'll be here soon to talk to you.
I am not encouraging nor condoning flying kites or drones near the White House.
What if you do? Let us know how that goes.
Thinking that Cammy missed me, and that's why she's barking so much. She's like, why aren't I hanging out with Jesse?
Because you can't hear her while she's in there. Be able to hear her if she was out here.
Is she coming through on the stream?
I had asked before and he said no.
Not very well. Every now and then we'll get a big bark from her, and it's very small on here.
I don't think Cammy has big barks. She's very small.
She's medium.
Medium.
She's small. She's smaller than my potato. She's
I'd say hers dogs are medium.
All that window looking.
Stunted her growth.
She's what, 50 pounds?
Yeah.
Just a little tiny puppy. So proud of herself to be licking that window. Which is funny, that's what Levi was doing when I met him.
Hey, I had to make sure the snozberries tasted like snozberries.
You know, that author references snozberries in a different book, and he references them slightly different than he did in the first book, and it's heavily, heavily, heavily implied that snozberries is like a silly word for something else.
I'm so shocked.
So yeah, I guess y'all didn't see what I was just doing there. Sorry. A little spacey today. I've been up since like 5. So yeah, I just decided how long I wanted the round part to be, and now I'm just working on making it round and nice. And I kind of cheated. I was having a discussion with Brittany via text about what we could be making tonight on the stream, and I completely cheated. And I went to the Googles and did an image search for hand forged, and then just started scrolling looking for something to make. And I'm just a little bit annoyed that like 90% of the stuff was like knives. Like, yeah, everybody wants a knife. I did, however, in the knife department, and the last live stream, somebody asked about knives. I went to this really fancy princess woodworking store. It basically cost $100 just to park. That's an over exaggeration. But everything in there is ridiculously expensive. And I went over to their cutoff bin and found a couple of chunks of that purple heartwood, like decent sized chunks, and a couple other little niceties. Went over to my dad and said, "Can you turn those into knife handles?" He's like, "Yeah, I can turn anything into a knife handle." Like, that's what I wanted to hear. So yeah, cost me like $10 for a pretty good chunk of purple that I could maybe get 1 or 2 knives out of. So now I got to forge a knife that's fitting of a purple handle. All right, going back to making things round again. I'd say that's pretty round. And just for ease of holding onto things with tongs, I'm going to leave it pointy for now and work this other end down. And then I will curl them a little bit later. Boop. All right. All right, Levi, what do you have to add to the stream tonight?
I'm thinking you need to find friends who have some musical talent to write you some piece that in the background that's non-copyright. Have a little bit of background noise, especially now that you have a fancy new mic that really cleans up our audio.
Yeah, to kill some of this downtime because I'm so spacey today. I'm just very tired.
Pretty much my only complaint about it right now is since it kills everything else out, it sounds real flat and we could use a little bit of reverb.
A little bit of reverb. I'm not up here singing Islands in the Stream.
Yeah, but the tone just doesn't feel right. It feels flat.
Are you saying I'm monotone?
No.
Be careful, don't let Rosha slip when you're going in. I'd rather not chase her around the neighborhood. So I got a little bit of a rag on this end from where I cut it off. So I'm going to do the old trick of forging that down to the very fine point. And eventually I'll get to the point where it just kind of crumbles off, and then I'll clean it up and we'll be set. I was trying to cut to center, but was distracted and gave it too many whacks and it snapped off on the anvil. But what's a little bit of metal rag between friends? Guess you guys might like to see what I'm doing. Oop. I don't know if that light is doing anything. I don't think it is. What's going on?
Contemplating places to keep the puppy dog.
Gotcha. Right there.
Yeah, we really need to see about getting the line in mic working.
I'll just get a. Well, we can always get another mic. I was just trying that out because, we had that extra mic. Might as well try and use it. Anything going on in the comments section?
Not in the past couple of minutes.
It's really cool that Ian jumped in. That's awesome. All right, nothing going on in the comments.
He says it's sounding good. So.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate the feedback. Were we having a conversation the other day? And I was like, oh, that's a good topic for the stream. I feel like we had a thing going on. It's like, ooh, we should bring this back up. Do you remember what that was? Yeah, that checks out. told you they wasted Monica Bellucci in that movie. I'm gonna stretch that out just a little bit more. Yeah, we got into this on the Saturday stream a little bit, but they have one of the most beautiful women in cinema, and you could have cut her out of the movie, and you wouldn't have noticed.
Ian's asking if we need some Maker's Mark.
No, we only drink Pepsi and apple juice. Where's my logo? Showing off my logo cup. Yeah, we only drink Pepsi, water, and apple juice on this stream.
After the stream. Speaking of which, I'm gonna go grab a
Will you return with a Pepsi for moi?
No, okay, thank you.
Muchas gracias, señor. Doop, doop, doop. Ian, if you're still with us, name a perfect movie. You can't do anything to it, subtract or add to make it any better. It's perfection. Thank you kindly, sir. I did. There should be a chair in front of the door, and it sounds like the office door didn't get shut all the way then. Huh. Yeah, just put something else by that chair if she pushed the chair out of the way. What was I doing? Did I just go in the fire or just come out of the fire?
So,
Ugh.
seeing it now, but Ian's response to us saying that we're only drinking spicy apple juice here is cute, just checking.
Yeah, that wouldn't be safe. No one has ever consumed an adult beverage while working in my forge. Levi, will you do me a favor?
And his response to a perfect movie is Pulp Fiction.
Surprised that didn't come up in our previous discussions about perfect movies. I personally wouldn't say it's perfect, but it is certainly like a god tier movie. Levi, will you do me a favor?
Yes, sir.
This light right here between us, can you center the tripod over that tuft of grass? I want to see if that'll do any better for us. Just a switch my way. That might be better. I think that might be better. The better the lighting, the better the quality of the video is.
Oops. Sun going down earlier, making it harder to do these.
It sure is. I think we're going to start shooting for about an hour and a half or so on the live streams, at least until we get the shed.
Makes sense.
Which I checked on my application today, and it has not changed its state since I put it in, basically. So today I was distracted by work stuff, amazingly enough. And I think tomorrow I should be able to sneak out some time to just call them up and be like, hey, what did I do wrong? Please, hey, help.
best way. You give them about a week to look at it, and then if they haven't gotten back to you, make noise.
I'm seriously considering just taking a day off work and just going over there. Be like, hey, I'm not a smart man.
Well, we
Please
don't need
help.
to take the full day off, but yeah.
But maybe I want to take a full day off.
Well, that's because you don't want to work. Typical millennial Gen Z attitude there.
Gen Z, I am decades too old for Gen Z.
Yeah, but they don't claim that the millennials. That's what you would be, right? Between the Gen X and millennial.
I'm an elder millennial, yes.
They don't say that they have the don't want to work problem usually.
No, it's the you type of millennial that doesn't want to work.
I find that real difficult to believe. All the people that I know my age plus stays.
All right, so now we have a pointy stick. It's pointy on both ends almost. I outbent the pointy end on this with my tongs. Cool. So now let's get them hot and curl them over, I guess. Or maybe we'll do a twisty twist. Doop, doop, doop. All right, that one's set. We'll do our twisty twist before we put our curls in.
You have another pair of those in the house, right? We should take that and get the fit in the. That's not virtual. What's the word I'm looking for?
Hardy.
Hardy. Thank you.
Yeah, the much larger one that's sitting in that basket in the guest room.
Yeah.
That has a broken handle.
Yeah, so take the
And-
slopes off of it, make it where it fits in the hardy hole.
I think I'm going to fix the handle on it and then weld a stick on top of it and turn it into a proper bending wrench. Oh, well, there's a little Miss Rochemay.
I bet she was an excited puppy to see you yesterday.
She was more excited to see Brittany.
That girl power going into activate.
Yeah, I guess. Will you bring her over here? I'm not going to talk to her directly because I don't want her to drag you across the yard. Hey, Rochemay. Come here, sweetie. There you go. Good girl. Say hello to all the nice people. Yeah, you're a good little puppy dog, aren't you? All right, little girl. Go inside and be good.
Come on, Russia.
Be good.
Come on.
So if that's the first time seeing her, that's Rochemay. She's appeared on the stream a couple of times. Now let's get this Mamma Jamma hot and put in some twisty twist. Boop. Boop. All right. So yeah, Pulp Fiction was a great movie.
So why wouldn't you put it as a perfect movie and just God tier?
I based that solely off of just like a gut feeling. I don't have any hard lines to say it would have been better had it been or had they not. It's just a gut feeling.
That's fair. So not necessarily your ideal genre type deal.
Tarantino, obviously brilliant. making sure the dog goes inside without fighting. Um, Obviously brilliant. I gotta be in the mood to see a Tarantino anything. I gotta be in that kind of mind space to be able to accept that kind of silliness. Not to say his stuff is zany, it's just his stuff is absurd. John Travolta added in the face to the line, "Oh my God, I shot Marvin in the face." John Travolta added the "in the face" thing because he said the only way he could get through the scene is if he made it funny. But to just do the scene as written, he just couldn't get into it. So he said, "Hey, can I say this instead?" And apparently Tarantino, after the fact, told Travolta, "You know, that whole time I didn't know I was making a comedy." Which, if you get down to it, the absurdest things are in that movie. It's an action comedy, almost like a buddy cop movie, but instead of buddy cops, it's buddy mobsters.
Yeah.
What movie are we referring to?
Pulp Fiction.
Is there a buddy cop movie that comes to mind that came out before Pulp Fiction?
Lethal Weapon.
Alright,
I
that's fair.
was surprised I had that so quick too.
Otherwise, I'd say maybe Pulp Fiction is the foundation for buddy cop movies.
No, I don't think that's true. Because to be fair, we also had things like Chips and
It's
those other TV shows like it that very much lean into that buddy cop genre.
when did the first 21 Jump Street come out?
That was a TV show from 70s. This would have been a lot easier if I had second hands. And if my wrench worked. But fun fact, you can twist mild steel while it's cold and ignore a phone call and drop your piece in the dirt all at the same time.
Drop board.
So yeah, the reason why I would want to put a handle on top of one of these wrenches is then you don't get that big ugly bend. It'll stay mostly straight. But we fixed that by standing it high on the ridges. I don't know if it's going to be able to come through here. But you stand it up on its ridges and you give it taps on the ridges and then you don't destroy your twist. Let me get that hot so that'll bend easier. Then we'll twist the other side, put in the loop-de-loops, and then horseshoe it, and it will be a done troll cross. Lethal Weapon. I love every one of those movies. None of them are perfect though, but damn, I love them. And one of the things I love about it is how incredibly well they wrote Joe Pesci's character to be this ridiculous, silly person. Almost one could say he's like a clown there to amuse us, considering the character he played in The Goodfellas is exactly the opposite of who he is in Lethal Weapon. All right, we'll get that other side twisted there. I'm not going to worry too much about that wiggle because we're going to bend it into a horseshoe anyways, and no one will ever know.
Oh no, but give me 5 minutes and I'll forget.
I'm okay with that. Well, that was quite an air shift.
Right?
Do we
That
have
was a
nasty
chilly
clouds
breeze that
above?
came through.
Oh, it's more clear now than it has been all day. Just with that sudden temperature drop, I was afraid we were about to get.
Sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially considering it was raining on me when I was walking the dogs before coming over here.
Yeah, you texted me and said, "Hey, it's raining here." It's like, oh, it's not. So I got up and came and stood on the sidewalk and watched the clouds for a minute. It's like, all right, so I'm in the clear. I was really glad it didn't rain this morning because I had my Wrangler sitting in the front yard with no top and doors and no chance of getting it in the garage while the guy was working.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's a Jeep. It just would have been considered a car wash.
Yeah, but those seats get icky when they're wet. Like, they're designed to repel water. But I'd still rather not have to empty a whole bunch of water out of the foot pans. I drove it over to a buddy's house when we went on a fishing trip last year and just left it in his garage while we were in Michigan. And when we got back, it was raining pretty good. So he just gave me a ride home. And a few days later, he came and picked me up and drove me back to his place. And we sat and talked for a little while. Like, well, the weather's starting to turn. I might as well get out while the getting's good. So I jumped in my Jeep and took off. And I made it to the end of his street when the clouds opened up. And it turned into a torrential downpour thunderstorm. Lightning and thunder cracking. My glasses are covered in rain. The inside and outside of the windshield is covered in rain. I'm driving like this, looking out where the door should be because the windshield was useless at that time. And I'm puffing on my cigar, just hoping to God it stays lit. But it got to one point where I'm puffing and puffing and puffing, and it goes out. And I looked at it, and it was like dripping. Like, oh, that probably explains why it went out.
At least you were going for a job interview that time.
That one was worse. The job interview one was worse. That was way more rain. Heck, I watched lightning hit the ditch and set the ditch on fire in a torrential downpour. It was full on flaming. Like, did the world just end on my way to this job interview? Good God.
Trying to give you a sign.
Yeah, they didn't want to hire me because I had long hair. Honest to God, they asked me if I would cut it. And I was like,
Yeah, fast on the job because of that as well.
and they're like, plus you'll notice that not many guys here have facial hair. I think old Jimmy's got a mustache. Would you shave your goatee? And I was like, no, I won't be doing that either. All right, we got some inconsistent spiraling going on here, but that's okay. We'll revisit this when I have a full shop set up and I have vices and legit bending wrenches, so that'll make this a lot easier. All right, let's curl up those ends. But yeah, on the drive home from my friend's house when my cigar was literally dripping, it got so bad I couldn't see. And I may have ran a couple of red lights because I didn't know they were red until I was directly underneath them.
Oops.
And after about the second or third one of those, I'm like, I need to find an awning. And I found a car dealership service center that had a big awning. So I went and parked underneath it for a while to try and dry out a little bit. I was old Jeep. It's had over 200,000 miles on it. It's an '04 Wrangler. I've had it since '07. Thing's been all over the Midwest with me and New York. So she's put in her work.
She needs a lot of loving.
She does. And now I got a new rattle that I didn't have before. It sounds like the exhaust is falling out, is what it sounds like. I don't know if that's what it is. But yeah, as soon as those clouds broke, I went flying out of that parking lot like a bat out of hell, just sprinting down the road as fast as that little old Jeep would carry me. All right, let's do a nice big curl. Nice big curl. I guess I should have switched my camera, but it's too late now.
You need to get a switch flipper or something to keep on top of you.
I think you guys would forget about it faster than I do.
Now that we monitor the audio, I don't think so. But that's also why I said switch forward. That way you can keep your little phone up there and then we can have buttons over here.
It's too bad that we can't have the app going on more than one device.
We did find that conclusively.
I tried connecting my cameras to my laptop and to my tablet. Not at the same time, like independently, and they wouldn't do it. And I think I'm going to have to tell the cameras to forget my phone so I can pair it to another device. And it was like 2 hours before the stream. It's like, no, I'm not unpairing these, just in case they don't want to pair up proper again.
Maybe over the weekend we can try playing around with that a little bit more. There should be a way to get that a little bit happier.
I don't know. This app is overly simple.
Upgrades for when you have your other setup.
When I get monetized, then I'm getting that sweet, sweet content creator money. We'll upgrade the cameras.
How many followers do we have on TikTok before we can monetize that?
That's not a question I know the answer to.
You need 10,000 followers on TikTok, and then you can monetize.
We got some time, Phillips.
I'm not happy with those loops, but they're loops nonetheless. We're about an hour into the stream. And that sun's getting awfully low, big guy.
We are 221 on TikTok.
Okay. Not too bad. How many links have we made?
I don't want to talk about it.
I made 2 really, really nice clips last week.
That is true. That is facts.
Started to play the game of Will It Link, and I just started like picking up really tiny pieces.
That's a good way to challenge yourself there.
Yeah, I was going to take that other spring and stretch it out at the shop so we can cut off more links.
Very tiny.
But the last time I was at the shop, I got to the shop and then remembered to bring the spring.
Well, with the way that spring is now, we could just cut it in half, and then we have,
I think we'll get more if we stretch it out and cut it at 6-inch lengths instead of just zipping it off.
If we zip it off and then turn each one of those into 2 links, it's going to be the same thing.
Potentially.
Just less work.
But yeah, I forgot. And I won't be able to make it to the shop this week.
Snap, what you got going on Thursday?
Work stuff.
How rude. How dare work interrupt your life?
Yeah, I got server migration. I can't talk about the details, but I got a server migration of a production server. So we can only do it after hours to minimize impact.
Oh, that's something I can ask you about. Power went out for almost 12 hours at my apartment, I need a battery backup for my server. What do you recommend?
I don't have a recommendation. I've been so far removed from that realm. If you would have asked me about 12 years ago, I would have had a recommendation for you. But A, I don't remember the name of that model, and B, they don't make that model anymore. Like that model was going out of vogue when I was paying attention.
Yeah. I'm halfway tempted to just find the big boy version of your Jackery box and use that.
You might get a better deal on a UPS over a power station because of marketing.
That's true.
I want that to get a little bit hotter so this bin goes a little easier. Yeah, I think you'll have better luck finding a UPS versus a power station. I like my power station. It's great. I usually keep it charged because when power goes out here, if it's out for more than 5 minutes, then you're looking at about 24 hours of no power. So that's why I bought it, so I can keep things active when the power goes out. But it's a power station, so it has a different use case than a UPS that you just plug in and forget about.
Yep.
So you might get a better deal on a UPS.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, yours has a
Friday,
flashlight on it and stuff.
Friday, I was trying to do some work from the living room and try to log onto the website, and it's like, this website's not here.
Oops.
Go over to my house, it's completely pitch black. Took out a couple of flashlights, fed the cat, took a shower by flashlight.
All right, let's bend some metal here. I'm going to cheat and use tongs around the horn. To get it started. I'm not overly happy with how that turned out.
That's pretty narrow.
Yeah, doing it with the tongs is not the right way to go about doing that. Really, just coming off the horn too soon was not the right way to do that. Let's see if we can correct that. Yeah, I'm just not liking that. Need to use a bigger part of the horn.
Now that you have a loop there, you can just hook the loop over the horn and hammer it up the horn until you got a circle.
Perhaps. I was just going to stretch it back out and then do it over the fatter part of the horn. I hate the sound that car makes.
EV sounds so weird.
I think it's a hybrid, but I hate that weird whistling.
I would have much preferred that they went with Jetson noises for EVs. Hybrids.
How's that go again? Sound like a monkey on cocaine. Coco. Sound like a monkey on cocoa.
You still got lead paint on your window frames?
I bought a special spritz of liquid lead that I spray on the window just for her.
Gotta add the flavor.
Yeah, she gets mad if you don't put the flavoring in there. I saw a video where a guy had kajiggered with the settings in his uncle's Tesla. So that every time he turned on the turn signal, the car would play fart sounds. And I think that's the best thing about Tesla is you can make those things make the sound for what they are. Yeah, on this kick there for a while, I was watching people that they're modifying the dinger in their vehicle. When you'd open up the door, it goes ding, ding, ding. They're changing that to make different noises and stuff. Saw another one where the guy wired up a soundboard to his horn thingy so he could push a button. It sounds like R2D2 making noises and stuff. Like, I love that.
I don't know, it'd be great to change the door sound to the first gen Star Trek. Just
We're getting somewhere with it. I'm still not overly happy with it, but it's my first one, and that's part of blacksmithing is experimenting with different shapes and items and techniques. But yeah, this will close up here another heat or two, and that sun is dropping like crazy.
yeah,
So I
camera
think
still
we'll,
looks good.
pardon?
Camera still looks good.
I think moving that light up is very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Originally it was down low to get underneath the hat bill, but now putting it like face, it gives me a full light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think having those two so it balances it out. Especially with you constantly wearing a hat.
Yeah, keeps the hair and sweat out of my eyes.
Don't put on a sweatshirt.
No,
Not paying attention really. I know.
All right, we're gonna get the bottom ends hot now, and then just bend those in, and we not lose. So let's see real quick. So yeah, be a short stream tonight.
I just realized we never went live on Twitch.
I beg to differ. I got told that we are live on Twitch. My phone dinged at me.
yeah, so live on Twitch, just black screen.
How odd.
The icon says live, the video says offline.
It's weird. Are you maybe on a? Well, I guess if you just, I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. Might have to just cut Twitch to go. I got like one subscriber over there, and I don't do any kind of Twitch socializing.
Okay. Well, once you hit 1,000 followers on TikTok, you should be able to live stream to that. So we can switch Twitch over to TikTok.
Sure. Super. Yeah, it's too bad Instagram makes it so annoying to live stream to them through a third-party app.
You said you had to get a new API key each time or something.
Every single time you go live, you have to get a new key. Which is super annoying.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
But that is okay. I'll just get back in the habit of shooting a quick Instagram video before we go live. So, because I get a lot of traction on Instagram, so we could pull some of those people over to the YouTubes.
You just shoot a quick video of setting up and post that with a caption or lettering across. Go live over at.
Mm-hmm. Exactly what I was thinking.
I moved her upstairs. She never gets on her phone.
She up there? Oh yeah, she's right there in the corner. Maybe.
Yeah, no, she's definitely there.
Not quite there yet. Yeah. At least we got the microphone thing figured out.
Yeah. It's kind of ridiculous the steps we had to go through to mute the camera mics.
We didn't have to do that when we streamed on Saturday. Like it was all just hunky dory. But maybe that's where the echo came from.
I'm assuming so because there was a hiss, there was a lot of background noise, and on that stream, this one's nice and clean.
That's dumb that we had to plug a microphone cable into that camera to get it to turn off the microphone. Good night, neighbor.
So I am curious if your wireless mics that come with that have a mute function on them.
They only have on and off.
Not as useful. If they had a mute function, we could link one of those and use that for us back here to talk and actually be able to be heard.
Yeah, no, it's on or off with those. I don't like how this troll cross is coming out. It's much too narrow. I should be going for more of a circle, and I'm just not getting there. I should get the whole thing hot and work it around the horn instead of just trying to fold it over. I'm going about this entirely the wrong way, which is a step in getting it figured out. So I think maybe next stream we'll do it again, only better. All right, that's not sweat. That's just the shadow of the anvil. Oh yeah, you can see the actual horn. I kept looking. It's like, man, I look like I'm sweating like a dog over here, but I'm not. It's because that light is casting the anvil on my rotund belly. Yeah, I went about that troll cross entirely wrong. But that's part of the fun. Maybe next week I'll go about it the other way. I'm thinking I should have done it instead. Yeah, I thought of that as like an arch, not as making a circle. So that's why it.
You tried to do it like you did the hearts and wasn't quite pulling off that circumference yet.
Yeah, in my head it was more of a like an arch that crossed at the bottom, but it's really just a circle that overlaps. And that disconnect in my head led me down this path. So the next time it'll be slowly working it over the horn until it comes all the way back around on itself, and then get it hot and like accordion it to get the pieces to.
Well, I feel like if we were at the spot you were earlier, where it was looped over but not quite the way you wanted, if you had gotten the whole loop decently hot and then tapped it up the horn, it would probably pull out a circle that you wanted.
It would have. It wouldn't have. It would have.
If you held it,
It would have done basically what I did over the flat of the anvil by flattening it back out.
probably.
No, it doesn't want to get hot. It knows I want to shut the stream down. It's like, nope, I'm going to take my time. Let's dig that way down in there and just hope that I don't forget and burn it in half.
That sounds like something I would do.
Happens to all of us. Let that cook for a little bit. Yeah, I think that light's going to have to come up a little bit. I don't like that anvil cast.
We're getting that.
No, we don't have to do it right now, just on the next stream.
If we tilt this one down, because right now it's pointing up for the most part. Can I point this one down?
You can try. They're wonky. Doobie doobie doobie. Yeah, I am not happy with how that came out. And a little bit. I'm not even going to do like a.
I don't know. I feel like we should do a reveal so we can compare and contrast next week.
No, I'll set it next to the pretty one. But yeah, as you guys know, if you watch the channel, usually when I'm done working on a piece, I present it for the camera. Look at this cool thing I made. I gotta say, for my first one, this looks terrible. So I'm not gonna do a big fancy presentation on it. So I'm just gonna set this off to the side. And we're gonna go ahead and kill this because that sun's dropping real fast and we gotta clean up all this stuff. So, everybody, thank you very much for showing up. And Ian, our new viewer, thank you very much for popping in. We're going to shut this down and probably go get some foods. I was just getting into that, but thank you very much. We're going to do our plugs at the end of the show because I usually do it in the middle. But DB_Forge on Instagram. Check him out. What's that other one? Coyote Forge. Check him out. He's got some cool stuff going on. Sharp Bend Forge on YouTube. Sean Daniels Real Estate here in Indianapolis if you're looking for real estate. Daniels Real Estate. And of course, I don't have the logo on the front of my shirt, but Custom Blacksmithing in Atlanta, Indiana. Check them out as well. From the Mold, I think that's about it. Levi's not promoting anything yet, so we're going to skip that. And we're going to go ahead and call it done. So thank you very much for joining in. We will see you next week. Same Forge channel, same Forge time. You guys